system, but I mean, it's good. I'd check it out. I mean, it's worth reading.
Well, finally, Deathbed by Joshua Williamson and Riley Rosmo, colors by Ivan Placencia. This is actually a Vertigo title being released.
I really dug this one.
I dug it.
Actually, I thought it was good.
So the story centers on a young female writer by the name of Valentine Richards, who's always wanted to be a writer, but she's been kind of through this, that, and the other thing. She's kind of taken on more of like a ghostwriter type of career, where she ghostwrites other people's stories instead of her own story.
Yeah, well, she's trying to write her own story, but she can't make any money, and she can't get it published yet, so she's working on these other things.
And when we were first introduced to her, it's really interesting because you get these shots of, a lot of drinking, pizza, a vibrator, and then her with her panties down on the toilet smoking a cigarette talking to her agent. It really is kind of like that down on your luck type of like splash page. Like this person is like rock bottom, trying to make things work and trying to get this, her career going. So she's told that she's been asked to write the memoirs of this Antonio Luna, who's like this greatest man who ever lived.
Yeah, he's kind of like the most interesting man in the world for Dos Equis.
Yeah, but nobody's ever heard of him. Nobody's ever heard of him.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of his adventures take place in like mystical realms and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so she goes to his mansion, is brought in by his servants, goes through the house where in the panels you see all these like weird demonic creatures in the house amidst paintings of him fighting sea serpents and
it's cool. The artwork is really cool. I really like the artwork. Yeah, it's really detailed. The spooky old haunted house that he lives in, like the creepy old, like in the swamp with like the moss hanging down. It's just like it's really like typical haunted house, cool visuals.
Yeah. I mean, this guy it shows that he was in Vietnam, and he was like a big game tracker in like the jungle, like Indiana Jones. And she finally gets to him, and he's
kind of like Doc Sam. He's kind of like not Doc Sam.
Brock Samson.
Well, Brock Samson, but he's kind of with what's the guy's name? The Man of Bronze. What was the guy?
I know who you're talking about.
He kind of reminds me of that. I can't think of the title of it.
So, but when she finally meets him, of course, he's like on his deathbed, and he's dying, and he's got doctors around him. He tells everybody to leave. He wants her to write his story. And then he kind of then he just is like, haha, it's all a joke, jumps up, full wang. Full fucking wang.
It reminded me of obviously because of Dr. Man, it kind of reminded me of like an Alan Moore type story.
Yeah.
Alan Moore likes to show a lot of dick in his books.
Yeah, and there was some dick in this one. So basically he wants her to go on this one, he's like, I want you to write this story. This is my final story. I want you to write it.
Yeah, he plans to kill all of his enemies. And have get rid the world of all of his enemies in his final days, and have her write the story of it.
So I loved it. I thought it was a great setup book. The art is amazing. There's action in it. It makes me want to know what's going to happen next, because this guy does seem like like he's been on some fantastical adventures. What's this? And he's going to kill all of his old enemies. I want to see what it is.
It looks like he has children too. There's pictures of him with a family.
Yeah.
With like 4 kids. And the artwork is real stylistic, but the artwork is really fucking cool. I really like the artwork. I love it looks like it's going to be a cool like adventure story, because at the end he's like, are you going to go with me? Or you go back to your boring life or whatever? And she's like, okay, I'm in, let's do it. And so they head off to go on adventures to kill demons, I assume, and it looks like it's going to be badass.
So from Vertigo, a great book.
Yeah, I would recommend that one, definitely. I wouldn't say it was my pick of the week, but I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. So that's this week's reviews. We want to thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back next week with more DC comic reviews, so stay tuned for that.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
NRR great Renegades.